Annex Foundation, February. Psalm 127, a Postmillennial Pentecostal Exegesis. Matthew T. Corbett, DSL, TLDR, Summary. Psalm 127, a Postmillennial Pentecostal Exegesis. The sovereignty of God in building and security. Verses. Psalm 127 begins with a foundational truth. Unless the Lord builds the house, those who build it labor in vain. Unless the Lord watches over the city, the watchman stays awake in vain. Psalm 127:1 ESV. This verse establishes God's absolute sovereignty over human endeavors. From a postmillennial perspective, this underscores that all cultural, societal, and familial advancements must be rooted in divine providence, sanctified in His Spirit, and bring glory to the one who saves us. The dominion mandate Genesis 1:28 is not achieved through mere human effort, but through godly wisdom and reliance on divine guidance. This aligns with the Pentecostal understanding of Spirit-empowered work. Just as the early church in Acts was built by the work of the Holy Spirit, Acts 2, so too must all institutions, whether homes, churches, or nations, be established through reliance on God. The emphasis here is on ordered love, ordo amoris. If our priorities are wrongly placed, our work becomes futile. Furthermore, verse rebukes an anxious toil that denies God's provision, when it is in vain that you rise up early and go late to rest, eating the bread of anxious toil, for He gives to His beloved sleep. This does not promote laziness, but rather faith in God's provision, echoing Jesus' words in Matthew. Hard work is necessary, but it must be done in the context of godly rest and trust. We all know those who pursue prosperity with anxiety and stress. This is not the way God intended us to live. We are supposed to work hard during the day and go to bed at night with a godly fatigue, a tiredness that stems from a good day's work, anxiety-free and full of joy. This directly challenges modern materialism, which idolizes work as an end in itself, rather than as a means of glorifying God. Children as divine heritage. Verses. The second section of the psalm pivots to the family. But behold, children are a heritage from the Lord, the fruit of the womb a reward. Psalm 127:3 ESV. In a postmillennial framework, this verse is central to the Christian vision of dominion and cultural transformation. Children are not burdens but blessings. They are arrows in the quiver of godly parents, meant to be launched into the world to advance Christ's kingdom. Verse 4 states, "And like arrows in the hand of a warrior are the children of one's youth." This speaks to intentional parenting. Children must be sharpened and directed. The Christian household is not a passive institution but a training ground for cultural warriors, Deuteronomy 6:6-9. The imagery of arrows implies both offense and defense. Parents must equip their children with wisdom, biblical literacy, and a vision for generational faithfulness. This passage shows us that children of one's youth are mighty blessings from the Lord. A child of one's youth will be in their prime when you reach latter middle age, providing not just the blessing of grandchildren, but the help and support as you grow old. The more children you have at a young age, the less of a total burden you will be on any one child. In a postmillennial framework, family is highly valued. It is therefore of great importance that one have children young, and also supports their parents in their old age. The final verse, "Blessed is the man who fills his quiver with them. He shall not be put to shame when he speaks with his enemies in the gate." Psalm 127:5 ESV portrays children as a defense against societal opposition. In ancient Israel, the city gate was the place of legal disputes and governance. A father with many godly children had strength in the community and influence in civic affairs. This applies today. Christian families must see child-rearing as a means of societal transformation and a great ministry to the glory of God. This rebukes the modern anti-natalist culture, which views children as an economic liability rather than a blessing, in essence, an antichrist culture. Application: a vision for a God-centered society. Psalm casts a vision where God is at the center of all human endeavors, whether in labor, security, or family. A postmillennial application of this psalm calls for godly labor. Work must be pursued under God's guidance, not merely for economic gain but for kingdom advancement. Faithful rest. Christians must reject the secular obsession with toil and trust in God's provision. Multi-generational vision. Families should embrace children as divine blessings, raising them with a mission-minded perspective. Cultural engagement. Christian households should train their children to be active participants in shaping society through biblical truth. Psalm is a clarion call to reject humanistic independence and embrace a God-centered vision for both personal and societal flourishing. As we labor in faith, resting in God's providence and raising godly offspring, we participate in the advancement of Christ's kingdom. pushing forward his reign until all things are placed under his feet. 1 Corinthians 15:25-28.